What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Lion's Den. And I know it's been a while, but we're back. We're back with another video. And today we're going to be covering the UFC Paris card that just happened this past weekend. And my thoughts on the performances of the main card, because I didn't watch all of the fights. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Cyril Gane getting the TKO victory in round 2. What a performance. What an absolute masterclass of a striking performance from Cyril Gane. You know, going into this fight, a lot of people were saying Spivak, Sergey Spivak was going to be too much. The wrestling was going to be too much, and that he was going to take him down and, you know, get him in the clinch, take him down and submit him. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, y'all must have forgot. You know, like Roy Jones said, y'all must have forgot. Because last time I remember, Cyril Gane has... Up until the Jones fight, we weren't really questioning Cyril Gane's takedown defense. We weren't like, oh, his takedown defense is sus, blah, 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 blah. And he's fought some people that can, you know, get a takedown and stuff. He's maybe not fought elite wrestlers, but he's fought, people who have the ability to take you down, and he's shown that he can grapple, and I'm pretty sure he's got submission victory as well, doesn't he? But yeah, I just remember thinking, like, listen, don't let John Jones' performance against Cyril Gane fool you into thinking Cyril Gane's an awful grappler, because I don't think he is. I think he's actually got decent takedown defense. Like, Jones is just that good. He made him look like an amateur. And yeah, maybe some nerves got to him in that fight as well, and Cyril didn't perform to his best ability. But let's not forget, man, he's a fucking wizard on the feet. And we saw, this is what I was saying to people, right? You saw what Sean O'Malley did to Aljamain Sterling. On paper, you think, okay, Aljo gets a hold of him, it's done. He's going to take him down and the fight is over. Aljo was the favourite going into that fight, right? But I just remember thinking, like, people forget, in order to get a takedown, you have to close the distance and actually get your hands on that person, right? In the midst of all this, the fight is still on the feet. And if you can't close the distance and quite get that angle to set up the double leg takedown or whatever takedown you go for, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And Sean O'Malley showed that if you have a masterclass fucking degree in striking, you're going to be able to use your footwork well enough. Subject to, you know, the fighter. Not everyone's going to be able to do it. But if you have the ability to move and you have the footwork and you understand range, distance, it's not going to be as easy as you think it is. And Sean O'Malley proved that. Do you know what I mean? Sean O'Malley used his footwork to his ability, and was able to show that you can't just run up in there as a wrestler and just shoot for a takedown against someone who's a masterclass striker. Now, I was saying that this Cyril Gane Spivak matchup is almost identical. It's almost an identical matchup to the Sean O'Malley Aljamain Sterling, right? And I said, if Cyril Gane can use his footwork and move to the ability that we know he can, I don't think Spivak's going to be able to get him down. Do you know what I mean? I didn't think he was going to be able to get a good, solid takedown on him. And especially with Cyril Gane recently working more on his wrestling ability, I just didn't see it really going. Obviously, there's a chance. If he does get him down, then it's going to be a problem. But I thought to myself, Cyril Gane's going to be able to use his footwork and his striking ability to keep him at range, just keep moving and make it awkward and difficult for him to set up a takedown. You know how hard it is to set up a double leg against someone who's constantly shifting side to side and, you know, switching stances? Like, it's fucking tough. How do you time that unless you're John Jones? Do you know what I mean? Or perhaps Curtis Blades. These elite level wrestlers. But yeah, as for Cyril Gane's performance, man, I feel like I'm rambling a bit. Cyril Gane's performance for me was just absolute masterclass. A-star in striking, and just showed us all, you know, why he deserves to be at the top and why he was a title contender, you know, against Jones and Francis Ngannou. The guy's the real deal, man. He's the real deal. And I think he is, for me, the best striker in the division. There's no doubt about that. Striking alone, he's the best, you know, he's the best in the heavyweight division. But it's mixed martial arts. So whether he can get his hands around the title with, you know, the competition that he's got in front of him, being Tom Aspinall and, you know, Sergey Pavlovich, I think obviously the Jones fight's there if Jones decides to stick around, but I don't think Jones is going to stick around after the Stipe fight, should he win that fight, which I believe he will. I think Jones will retire, or at least step back and take a break from the sport and just let the heavyweight division play out. Do you know what I mean? Maybe see if someone can emerge from the pack as a new contender, the new superstar, or the new heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? Carry that banner in the division, and then Jones will be like, yeah, you know what, I'm up for the challenge, and then he'll come back and win his title back. But I think Jones will retire, he'll walk away, and it will be a matchup between Cyril Gane and either Tom Aspinall or Sergey Pavlovich for the title. And I think the Tom Aspinall fight is the hardest fight for Cyril Gane. I can see Cyril beating Pavlovich. I think he'll be able to evade the power, use his footwork well, and yeah, as long as it's striking, I don't see anyone really beating Cyril Gane. But the Tom Aspinall fight, that's a different kind of fight for Cyril Gane. I think that presents its own series of obstacles and problems, because not only can Tom Aspinall strike very well, but he's also very fast. He's probably the only other guy in the division that can match Cyril Gane for speed. And also, he's got the wrestling ability and the submission ability. So all those different threats, I think, is going to create it's going to be a task for Cyril Gane to get past Tom Aspinall, I think. My mind's telling me that matchup really favours Tom Aspinall. But we'll see. We'll see what happens if they do decide to make that matchup, or if Cyril Gane fights Pavlovich. It's all going to depend on what happens in... is it November? Whenever Jones is fighting Stipe. We'll have to see what happens with that fight, and then what Jones decides to do. But great performance from Cyril Gane. I'm going to rate that performance I've got to give it a 10. It was a 10 out of 10 performance for me. I think Pavlovich landed one clean strike on Cyril Gane the whole fight. I don't know. Let me see if I can bring up the statistics here. That is crazy. Holy shit. Spivak landed 11 out of 44 significant strikes. That is crazy. 11 strikes out of 44 thrown that he landed, as opposed to Cyril Gane's 109 out of 156 thrown. That's mental. The difference is just wow. Yeah, it's a 10 for me. 10 out of 10 performance from Cyril Gane. Can't really fault it. He didn't get taken down. He showed good sprawling ability and just absolutely destroyed Spivak on the feet. Great performance. We'll move on to the co-main event now. I was a bit bummed out about this one, I'm not going to lie. I wanted Rose to win. I'm a Rose Namajunas fan, and it just sucked to see that. Obviously, she broke her finger in the first round, and it happened to be on the right hand as well, which is her power hand. So I just remember thinking, this fucking sucks, because what can she do? What can she? She had to fight southpaw for the whole damn fight, and she couldn't really throw her power right, which was just, she was fighting with one hand essentially. It was just crazy. 20% battery remaining. That is not good. Hopefully it lasts for the rest of this video. But yeah, she had to fight with one hand for the whole fight, and I thought that was a bit shit, to be honest, because I thought she did well, considering she only had one hand. Yeah, she did well, and she had to fight from southpaw too. Like, I thought she won the fight on split decision. I'm not gonna lie, and that's not me being biased. I thought she just edged it. She was a bit more active. It was a close fight, don't get me wrong. It could have gone either way, but I personally thought Rose slightly edged the fight. If she had two hands, I think it would have been a clean, unanimous decision for Rose. But nonetheless, I don't want to take anything away from Manon. She did very well. Her win streak continues. She's shown to be a promising upcoming prospect in the women's flyweight division. And I think what's next for her, it's got to be a title shot, I think. It's either her or Erin Blanchfield that will get the next title shot. To be fair, after that performance, the fact that she couldn't really put Rose away and Rose was fighting with one hand, and it was such a close fight, maybe I'd rather see Erin Blanchfield fight for the title. Either way, good performance from Manon, and yeah, look forward to her next fight and to see what's next for her. Moving on to the lightweight bout, which was the main event. Benoit Saint-Denis versus Thiago Moises. Wow, that fight was fucking crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Holy shit. Bruv. Benoit Saint-Denis, yeah? Or however you pronounce his name. Saint-Denis. He is an absolute freaking animal. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be champion one day. I believe he'll be champion one day. He's so damn good. Like, his wrestling ability, his striking ability, his chin, his power, his speed. He's got it all. He's so well rounded. You know what he reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Michael Chandler, but with really good kicking ability. And I think maybe the reason he reminds me of Michael Chandler is because he's quite reckless. And I don't mean reckless in the sense he's not got technique and he just swings like wild. I mean reckless as in he will just throw himself in the fire and he's there to take you out. He doesn't give a fuck. Right? He's there to finish the fight. He's not playing this point game, this point fight, and he's not trying to win on a decision. He's there to take your fucking head off. Like, at every moment of that fight. And it showed again. He showed again in another performance, another brutalizing performance from him. And not against an easy opponent either. Like, Thiago Moises he's a tested and well-versed opponent. You know, he's been in there with the likes of Islam. It took Islam 4 rounds to get Thiago Moises out of there. And Benoit Saint-Denis managed to do it in 2, which is just, it goes to show, like, he's the real deal, and I think he's going to be coming up through the rankings very quickly. The only thing that worries me about Benoit is he does get a bit wild and reckless at times, and this goes back to what I was saying, why he reminds me of Michael Chandler a little bit. He'll just get himself into the fire, and the game plan will go out the window, and he'll just be like swinging and, just literally turn it into a brawl. And he can leave himself very exposed. Like, he'll leave his chin in the air and he'll just leave himself open for a lot of counters. And Moises, I remember there was a point in the fight where Benoit's backed Thiago and Moises up against the cage, and they were just going at it, and Benoit was just swinging and just trying to take him out of there, but leaving his chin exposed. He wasn't being calculated. He was just fucking swinging like a Viking, like this is reckless. And I remember Moises caught him a few times. Props to Saint-Denis. He's showed he's got a fucking granite chin, but you don't want to have to show that you have a granite. You don't want to have to show that. Do you know what I mean? That should just be a thing. It's a survival thing. You don't want to have to be taking shots when you don't need to be. And I think, again, it goes back to the Michael Chandler thing. He's got that wild man in him, that recklessness. And against the top 5 of the division, you cannot afford to fight like that. Okay? You've seen how it's worked out for Michael Chandler. It can work against your Dan Hookers or against your lower end of the rankings, or the top 10 maybe. But once you get to that top 5, people like Charles Oliveira, Islam, Benil Dariush, whoever else is there, these people hit like a fucking truck, and they're a lot more calculated and technical, and they will get you out of there quick. Dustin Poirier as well. Could you imagine him swinging like that against Dustin Poirier? Like, he would get chin checked and dropped quick. So the only thing for me, for Benoit, is that he needs to stick to his game plan a bit more and just not, throw caution to the wind and get himself into a firefight. Stay calculated, man, because he's got amazing ability. He's got amazing technical ability, wicked attributes. He doesn't need to fight like he's, do you know what I mean? Like he's in a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or like he's in a gang from the Warriors. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in the octagon, just chill, man. Chill, take your time. So, yeah, that's my only criticism for that fight. Other than that, I thought it was a great performance from Benoit Saint-Denis. Look forward to his next fight. The guy is very entertaining to watch. And I'm sure the home fans, absolutely loved watching that. It sounded fucking insane in that stadium. Those French fans I thought the UK fans were the best, but I think the French fans are by far now, like, they're number one. There's no competition. At one point I couldn't even hear the damn commentary. It was that loud. They were singing and I couldn't hear the flipping commentary. I was like, what is this? Like, this is nuts. It's like there's more people in the arena than there actually is. It's crazy. But yeah, for that fight, I'm gonna rate it I think a 7's too harsh, and I think a 9. I can't give him a 9, just because he took a decent amount of damage. I'm gonna go for an 8. I think it was an 8 out of 10 for Benoit Saint-Denis. A good performance, but showed lack of discipline at times and took unnecessary damage. So it's an 8 for you, pal. And the only other fight I managed to watch on that card was the Volkanovskis versus Bogdan Guskov. I didn't manage to see the other ones because I was out at the cinema with the missus watching Barbie. No, it was actually a good film, I'm not going to lie. It was actually a good film. Mandem, go watch it. It's actually a good film. Obviously with your missus, but yeah. Volkanovskis versus Bogdan Guskov. I thought that fight was good, and Volkan showed his improvements. He's switched camps now. He's training with Hamzat, and I think he showed a different intensity to his game. Like, I didn't think Volkan was going to come out so aggressive and forward, applying so much forward pressure. I really thought that Guskov was going to catch him, and we've seen Volkan get, chin checked before and dropped. And I thought with a big puncher like Guskov, I thought Özdemir was going to be in trouble. But man, he shows some massive improvement in his game, and I think that's credit to training with Hamzat and the boys over in Sweden, because they're doing some good work over there. And They train at an intense level, and yeah, it was a better performance from Volkan. Not really much to say. It was quite a quick fight. It was over in the first round. I've only watched it once, so I can't really get into the technicalities of it. But I just remember seeing he was very aggressive, and the pressure from Volkan was on point. He looked good. He looked good. Perhaps another, he's got another run in him, and might have a little run to the title. Whether he gets there or not, that's a different story. But no, it's good to see that division sort of like livening up again, and some, contenders like Volkan sort of putting himself back in the mix. Performance-wise, I think it was a pretty damn good performance. He didn't really take much damage. Put the pressure on from the get-go. I know Guskov took the fight on short notice, so we don't want to, discredit him too much as well. Fair play for taking the fight. But also, Volkan obviously took it on short notice too, so didn't really get to prep for the opponent. But for Volkan, I'm going to give him a... I'm going to give him a 9. It was a very good performance. Well improved performance from Volkan. Showed great intensity, great discipline. He was calculated, aggressive. He showed just many facets to his game. His striking, his wrestling, his submission game. It was a very good performance, man. I'll give him a 9. Well played, Volkan. And that concludes UFC Paris. I didn't really see anything else. I need to go back and watch the William Gomez fight and try and catch up with a few of the others. But those were the main ones. At least we've covered those. Hope you guys enjoyed the card. Hope you enjoyed this video. And stay tuned for more content. Like and subscribe. And don't forget to comment below and share your thoughts on the fight as well, because I'll be very interested to see what you guys think. Peace.